Hi, this is Pierre-Yves Delacote, working at Planet Technologies. So, best practice around teams. Within already how to define the best use case, what to think about before creating a team. And today I wanted to talk about how do you prepare your team. So, the first thing when you create the team is to uh, name it. So name it with a meaningful name. Um, and I would suggest, for example, when you invite, if your organization allow to invite guest access or external end users from partners or customers, whoever, um, to label it with, for example, the extension ext. So people, when they read the name of the team, they find out right away if it's just an internal team or if some guests are invited. Um, I've seen other companies doing differently, but like for example, at my company, we're using the logo Planet technology for every internal uh, team. But when there's customer involved or partners involved, then we put the logo of the company or the organization. So there's different way, but to me the best way is to put in the name of the team if it's external or not, and it should be a meaningful name so people can understand, figure out what kind of team it is. Then you need to create channels into the team. There are so many people, even people who are using Teams for a long time, they're just using the general channel, which is a default channel that you cannot avoid. It's there by default, and they discuss all the topic in this general channel. And I think it's pretty annoying to centralize all the discussion in just one place. So if you divide your teams into channels, and channels usually are work streams, especially if you work on a project. So you probably have several work streams. So then people can focus on the channel that have interest for them, and they might not be interested to see all the conversation, but if they want, they can. If it's not a private channel, so segment your teams into channel, but into several channels, but don't make I don't know 10, 20 channels. It has to be discoverable for people. So it's tricky. It's not There's not an easy answer for that. So do you have several teams or do you have a lot of channels? So you need to figure out what is the best for you. But my general recommendation is to stay under 10 channels max, really, because it starts to be a lot of information to be shared with your peers. So when you created the channels, then you can start to upload some useful files within the channels, and usually you upload those files you're gonna work on within folders. So you create folders. I also recommend not to have nested folders. Just have one level folder where you store important documents, and name your folder with understandable and discoverable name, so people can figure out where to find the information. And then within a channel, when you uploaded the files in the folder, you created the folder, upload the files. Then I recommend to build your what I call the cockpit. Teams is really powerful about that. It's really simple to use. The user interface is really straightforward, and you can add information, useful information, in a central place, which is a channel, adding tabs to the channel. So you can add, for example, a tab for a planner. If it's a project, if you want to plan some task and assign them to people and have it centralized in your channel. You can also add a website as a tab. And you can have several tabs, so several websites. For example, the important website you need to have access to understand what's going on. You can have, if you're using a CRM, you can add a CRM tab, because maybe you're working on a customer, so you want to have access to the CRM description of the customer in a tab. So you build your cockpit with all the useful information, which are website, maybe a link to YouTube video, maybe a CRM tab, maybe a planner tab, maybe a survey tab. There's tons of tabs you can add to add some context to the end user who joined the channel and can see the conversation in the channel, can see the files in the channel, but also can see some context, useful context, through the tabs. So customize your cockpit of the channel. Although it's a good thing to customize, but don't over customize. Don't add, let's say, more than 6 or 7 tabs, because then you have to scroll around the tab. So the context is lost a little bit then. Then, before inviting the end users, the members, I think it's important to, in the channel or in the team, depending how you're gonna organize your team, you need to, in the general channel, you need to explain the purpose of the team. And also, I will recommend to the first 2 conversations that you want to add in your team is probably explain the purpose of the team, and second is the code of conduct, what I call the code of conduct of the team, in the team, so people can understand that it's public. At least all the members have all the same rights, same permission, and it should be safe for people to share their ideas and have a conversation and engage, and some basic code of conduct. So it will ease the way people are engaging without breaking some rules that you want to give in your team. And then in the channel, you'll explain what you want to do in the channel. What is the channel aimed for, and what is the purpose of the channel? So then you're doing that, so not to avoid to explain to the people what the team is for, but to log somewhere this information for the people who cannot join the first meeting, where you're going to explain the teams, and when you onboard people in the team, then you have an explanation that will be persistent in your team. And then, so you invite, before inviting all the members, invite at least another co-owner. It's really key to have at least 2 co-owners. So if you're sick, you leave the company, or for whatever reason you're not available, it's always important to have another co-owner that have permission to do extra stuff than the members. And then you invite the members. So usually what I recommend is to stay under 50 people, because then it's not really a team. It's really, when it's over 50 people, it's hard to manage. And there will be a lot of conversation, and it's starting to be really complex. And I'm not sure that you're really collaborating when you're over 50. Might be some exception there, but usually if you're over 50 members, then it's more like a sharing environment. It can be, you can have a channel, for example, to share knowledge and to share training. Then you might have more than 50 people. In general, it's under 50. And so then you invite all those members, and if you have the ability, the first thing you want to do is to plan a meeting, a Teams meeting, to onboard people in the team. So then you can go over the structure of the team, the channels, what are the goals for every channel, and explain the file structure, the tabs, and so on. And you can record this Teams meeting, and then it will be you're recording a general channel, and it will be accessible after for other people who are joining the team later on. So that was my best practice guidance on how to use Teams, how to onboard people in Teams, how to prepare your team before launching it. If you had other ideas, other recommendation on how to prepare a team before launching it, just add a comment on under this post. See you.